Okay, so once again, thank you, Charles, for this opportunity. And so let's actually discuss about the career growth in technical support. We look at the opportunities in technical support, what technical support is actually all about. We look at the pathways, and of course, we can answer a few questions that that we have. I will start by a brief intro about myself. My name is Vincent Irole, and currently I work with Microsoft as a technical support engineer on vendor capacity. Yeah, so Microsoft have two types of employees, full-time employees and the guys we call the vendor. So if you ever seen an email that have the V dash the person's name at Microsoft.com. So that's the employees referred to as vendors. I could talk more about the vendor and the full-time employees later on. But yeah, I work with Microsoft as a technical support engineer, so under the vendor capacity, supporting Microsoft 365 customers. And yeah, it's a contract, more like vendors are contractors, so they are not like full-time employees, which is one of the benefits. I think everything has benefits and disadvantages, basically. So I mean, working as a vendor, you have kind of flexibility of working for other organizations while working with Microsoft, but it must not be a company that maybe that competes with Microsoft directly. But yeah, you have the flexibility of working with other organizations. In as much as you are performing your job, they don't have any issues with that. Unlike full-time employees, where you have your contract that states you can work for other organizations while working with us. So I think that's one thing about being a vendor, working as a vendor. So before I joined Microsoft, so I've been in this role for 2 years now. I so I would say I'm a technical support engineer at night, and at morning I'm a DevOps engineer. So basically, I do other jobs while I work with Microsoft because it's a contractor role. So I see. So let's talk about technical support. People hear about technical support and they want to know exactly what technical support is. So I'll just give you a very simple explanation of what technical support is. If you ever experience, you know, when you're using an application, for instance, and you are encountering an issue with that application, you always reach out to someone, right? I say, okay, here I'm using this application, but this is not working. This aspect of the application is not working. So the person you're reaching out to gives you a support. Okay, do this, do that, troubleshoot, when did this started happening, what's going on exactly. The person understands what the problem you're facing is, and the person helps you to resolve the problem. This person is referred to a technical support engineer. So there's a difference between technical support engineer and a customer representative or a customer support. Though, I mean, they are all under the customer facing roles, but technical support engineer requires your technical abilities. Now, when you talk about technical, more, yeah, mainly you see technical support roles in almost every company you can mention, the big companies, Google, Apple, Microsoft, AWS. They have technical support roles. They can call it different names. They can call it technical support specialist. They can call it uh, technical engineer. They can call it customer engineer. But when you look at the job description, you understand that, for example, I'm just going to give you like example of a technical role at Microsoft. So Microsoft have a lot of products, a whole lot of products. They have Microsoft 365, they have Azure, they have Windows. Every product that Microsoft have a department called technical support for that particular product. So, for example, Microsoft 365, which is like the product I support, we have the concierge team. This is the team that supports professional customers, the small business owners who uses this product, on a daily basis. They also have enterprise support engineers still on Microsoft 365, which support enterprise the enterprise application, like the Exchange enterprise of the application. Now they also have Azure engineers, like Azure support engineers. So these are different from like the core software engineers who build the tools. Support engineer is a customer facing role. To become a support engineer, first you understand what you're supporting, like the product itself. So for example, if you're supporting Microsoft 365 or Azure, it's you are required to understand the in and out of the product. You're required to understand how Azure works, how to use Azure, when something breaks on Azure, how to fix it. That is your requirement for the role. You need to understand how it works. And it is not just about the, uh, you know, most of support rules you come across are companies building software as a service, software as a service, like the Microsoft 365, they have the cloud base, which is a software as a service. This, you also have rules in technical support. I'm just going to give you like an example of what my day as a technical support engineer is. Okay, you go to work, you pick a case, like a ticket. A customer complains about the product. It could be any of the products. So let's take Microsoft 365 as a cloud suite service. It could be any of the product within Microsoft 365. It could be an issue with a customer not receiving emails again. It could be an issue with accounts was compromised. It could be any issue. It could be an issue with they are not able to set up their domain, their custom domain. So it could be any issue at all. But you don't determine what tickets or which case you work on, doing, anytime, any day. You just randomly assign cases to you because, they expect you to understand every bit of the technology. So if you support Microsoft 365, you are expected to understand, how internet works, how emails work, how to troubleshoot when there's email issues. First things to do when an account is compromised, when there's like a spoofing or phishing on the account. They understand you to understand how these things work in general. It could be an issue with OneDrive, SharePoint. It could be an issue with Azure AD. So these are like they are all part of Microsoft 365. So whichever issue the customer is facing within this platform, generally, you're expected to resolve the issue with the customer. You call the customer, you understand what customer is facing, what the issue is, you take details of the issue. Sometimes you don't have to resolve the issue immediately because some of the issues could require more technical research for you to like, okay, this is the problem, this is how we can resolve it. Which, of course, you can collect details of what the issue customer is facing currently is. And you can document these issues and you can, find solution for the issue and resolve the issue. This is basically what the technical support engineer does. It doesn't actually whichever technology it is you're supporting, whether Azure, whether SQL, whether 365, Windows, whichever technology it is you're supporting. The fundamentals of technical support engineer is to understand the issue the customer is facing, troubleshoot the issue with the customer, and resolve the issue. Now, there could be a time where you can't resolve the issue, and you require a more technical in-depth, or you need to escalate the case to a more senior engineer who can walk you through, help you to understand, okay, this is the issue, or they can actually fix the issue, but document how they fix the issue. And, you from there, you can talk with the customer again, I'll sync with the customer and, resolve the issue. So support engineer role or technical support is actually relevant in every organization because these are the guys that actually bring feedback to the company. So Microsoft, you see when you use a product, there's always like give feedback or maybe on Play Store or on the website. Users are not going to give you the feedback that your production team needs in order to keep working on the product. I think this is where support engineers or customer engineers comes in. When you work with customers, they give you first-hand feedback. Okay, this apps, we don't like this, we like this. You take this feedback to the production team, to the development team. So every organization needs a technical support engineer or have a technical support engineer. Most of the big companies, maybe it's, small organizations starting up, they don't basically hire technical support engineers, but every other organization, if you think about big organizations, Google, IBI, almost every organization, if you search for technical support roles, you will always see technical support roles for every organization, because these are the guys that actually help the organization move forward when it comes to customers' feedback, because they work with the customers firsthand. So technical support role is very relevant in every organization. If you look at career growth in technical support, this is like something that excites me when it comes to technical support, because it's actually I call it a free way to managerial role. I will explain what I mean by that. As a technical support engineer, it is easy for you to become a manager than a software engineer. This is the reason. If you look at what managers do at organizations, managers are people who manage, the organization. Like they manage, maybe group of engineers. They understand what the problems of the engineers are. They help the engineers to do their job better. Support engineers actually attain that growth easily than people who come from, let's say, software engineers or other fields in the organization. This is the reason. When you're a support engineer, every day you work with customers. When you work with customers, there's this growth when it comes to working with customers. Now, I'll give you an example. When you work with customers every day, you build, one is your technical know-how. I mean, you could face issues you haven't ever encountered before at work. Is a new issue, maybe it's unique. From resolving that issue, it could take you weeks, days, depending, sometimes months. Resolving that issue, you are building your technical know-how. So you're working with customers every day. You could work with like 5 to 10 customers in a day, resolving different issues. You're building your technical know-how. You're building your public speaking skills, like your confidence to work with customers. I mean, you're working with different customers. For example, I currently work with customers in the Eastern time zone, which is like USA, Canada, and sometimes UK. If I want to, I can work with customers in the US time zone as well. But mainly it's, the Eastern time zone. You work with businesses. These are like real businesses, small business owners that use Microsoft 365 or other products. You work with them. Sometimes you're working with a technical engineer in the organization who is having an issue with the product. Sometimes you're working with a non-technical person as well. So, I mean, sometimes when you work with non-technical person, it could be like a little bit difficult, but I think that is the strength of a technical support engineer, where you work with non-technical people. You try to break the issue, the problem, the resolution in a way that they will understand. So you try to break the technology like they are kids. When you work with a technical person as well, the work is actually more easy when you work with technical person than when you work with a non-technical person. But the point is there is growth. Like every single day that you come to work, there is growth. You're not doing the same thing. You are facing new challenges. These are like real life challenges that customers are facing, and you are helping them resolve it. And what happens is when you keep supporting customers, you're doing an excellent work, you could be promoted, or go to the extent of applying to become a team lead. From team lead, you can become a customer success manager. This is also a customer facing role, but now you're no longer, like, you're not supporting customers technically. Instead, as a customer success manager, you're managing customers and technical support engineers. So you're more like a manager. You come in when there is need for a manager to come in. It's not technical, but more of your soft skills that plays an importance in this field now. But you understand the technology. So I mean, like, you can support a technology you don't understand. But when it comes to growth, which I'm still talking about, you see that technical support engineer technical support roles gives you the ladder or the pathway to grow to a more managerial role. Because for you to be a technical support engineer, it means you work with customers every day. You can become a team lead. You can become a customer success manager, managing customers and technical support engineers. You can become a team manager, managing a whole team. They do most of the same work with customer success manager, but they focus more on the team, the technical engineers, when there is need for uh, a manager to speak with customers. They cannot come in, but most of their day is making sure that engineers are doing their work and bringing in their expertise as well, when engineers need help. So this is from, you see how this grows. You become a support engineer. Most of managerial roles requires you to have the technical support know-hows, which you could have gained easily as a technical support engineer. So for example, if you see a role that is they're hiring for a manager, let's say they're hiring for a Microsoft 365 customer success manager, and you have technical support engineer in your resume. I mean, it's you get the attention first than someone who doesn't have technical support in a role in their resume. Because looking at your previous role as a technical support engineer, you already know, or you already have the soft skill and the technical skills. So I mean, you're looking for a managerial role where you can now manage support engineer and customers. And this comes in place. This is you using your technical skills and your soft skills. So it's more easy for you to grow in a technical support role, than from a non-technical support role. So there's a lot of growth in technical support roles. Just like I have mentioned, you become a technical support engineer, you can go ahead to become a team lead, become a customer success manager, become a manager, and keep climbing to director roles and so forth. Apart from switching from or climbing the ladder, team lead, technical team lead, manager, director, you can also see that when you support customers, it's very easy for you to switch to another technology. So what I mean is, for example, currently I support 365 customers. Tomorrow I can decide to, okay, I have supported a lot of customers who are using 365. What about I switch to, let's say, AWS or maybe Azure? It's easy for you. I mean, you just need to understand the technical aspects of the technology you want to support. And the soft skills and how to manage your customers is something you already have from your previous role. So there's always growth. Every single day you go to work, you are growing either technically or you're growing otherwise, like building your skills, building your technical know-how, your soft skills for the next opportunity. So I think I already covered skills for success. I mean, for you to become a technical support engineer, the first thing that gets you the job is your technical know-how. Yes, I mean, you're going to go through the normal interviews that every other fields or organizations or other roles go through. It could be like a series of interviews where they ask you about behavioral questions, they ask you the technical skills, you do some assessments. It could even involve coding. Yeah, for example, at my current role, I work with PowerShell a lot. Work with PowerShell. Basically, that's the only scripting language I work with at the role. Yeah, it's Microsoft, so it's PowerShell. So I work with PowerShell a lot. You could see yourself writing scripts that does, something or the other in the 365 cloud environment. So it could be measuring your technical know-how. Then even if you have 99% of the technical skills and you don't have at least 50% of the soft skills, you could not get the role, right? Soft skill is sometimes referred to as more important than technical skills when it comes to support engineering roles. And I will tell you why. Why is because you work with customers every day. It's a customer facing role. Not all customers you are going to be working with are technically inclined. So some of the customers don't want you to be on call with them and you are just talking the jargons, you're speaking foreign things they don't understand. They just want the application to work. They don't care the name you give it. Just they want you to be able to help them resolve the issue. And sometimes you just don't have to mention the technical stuff. You can just explain it in a way they will understand what is going on, what they need to do to resolve the issue. You just walk them through it. So that is why soft skill is like very, very important in every technical support role. Soft skills is like more important than the technical skill because sometimes it could be an issue that doesn't actually require you to, you know, exercise your technical know-hows. I'll just give you an example. It could be a customer that does need to make inquiries about different Microsoft 365 pricings and plans. I mean, it's just more of you like telling them this is how this works, this is the pricing, this is what you get from this and this and that, and like more like a normal conversation. So I mean, everything is not actually technical when it comes to technical rules. Sometimes it's just how you speak, how you manage your customers as well. So you could be working with a customer who is very angry, but at the end of the day, you calm them down. Let them understand that this is computer, and when you're using computer, anything can happen. It could disappoint. It could like, but it's all about managing the customer. You know, putting yourself in the shoe of your customer and resolving the customer's issue. So soft skills, the way you speak, the way you manage the customer, the way you respond to your customer. Customer could be very crazy at the time, because he or she is frustrated with the technology. Maybe he's trying to do something and it's not working. Maybe his account was compromised. I mean, he needs you to like he's angry. When something happens, when something breaks, you're like very angry. I'll just give you an example. Let's say you turn on your system and you have an important interview by 12 o'clock. You turn on your system by 10 and you started having, your system start crashing. You open application, it closes, or you start having blue screen of death. You're not comfortable, you're angry, and you open a support ticket with Microsoft. Hey, I'm having blue screen of death, or my application is all crashing every time I open Windows. I mean, you are angry, right? As a technical support engineer, you understand your customer is angry. You have to apologize. Like apologize on behalf of the company you're representing. Yeah, we understand the frustration you're facing currently. Sincerely apologies. Okay, this is when did this happen? You try to get the details of the issue and you try to resolve the issue. At the end of the day, you could see customer being happy, and being grateful and praising you, thanking you for helping them resolve the issue. So this is actually where soft skills come in. So that is why most technical guys don't get the job because they have the technical skills, no doubt, but don't have the soft skills to actually, you know, uh, help them when it comes to the technical know-how. So soft skills is more important. Then technical skills is also important. I mean, I don't see you supporting something you don't understand. I don't see you helping a customer write a PowerShell script if you don't understand how PowerShell scripts work. If you don't know, what this command does, you can't just give what you don't have, right? So technical know-how is very important. You need to understand the technology you're supporting. If it's Azure, you need to understand how Azure works, how to deploy, stuff to Azure. If it's 365, you need to understand. Now, I'm just gonna use 365 as a clear example. I mean, 365 bundles a lot of services, class services like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, SharePoint, Azure AD, and a lot of them. And as a support engineer, you don't necessarily need to know how to use Excel like a pro. I mean, that is not your job. Your job is not to teach customer how to use Excel, but your job is to help the customer with the application if it's not working as expected, right? So it could be the customer is clicking on inserts and the insert button is not working. This is where you come in. Not a customer want to know how to boot a letter or a content, like this. You're not teaching the customer the how to use the application. I mean, there are videos for that, but your job is to fix, break and fix. That's basically what they call them, break and fix. A software is broken, your job is to fix it for the customer. So you need to understand how the software works for you to be able to understand how to even fix it. So if you don't understand how a software works, you can't actually fix it. And taking it outside 365 or Microsoft, other companies offer a lot of technical support tools as well. For example, Azure, AWS, even Apple, even Google. I mean, it could be an application support engineer as well. They can call it different things: technical support engineer, application support engineer. I'm just going to give you an example of a role called application support engineer. This skill requires you to like have programming skills, have DevOps skills, but your job is not actually, you're not doing DevOps or programming, you know, you're not a software engineer in the company. You're actually an application support engineer in the company. More like you're supporting the engineers themselves who are building or who are writing the code. So you are more like you understand the product. You can even identify the bug in the product. You can help fix the bug as well. But it's not your job, but you can help fix the bug. So by helping fix the bug, I mean, like, for example, if you're working with a customer who identified a bug, your job is to identify how to fix the bug, but not to fix it. So you like, okay, this is the problem. This is how we can fix it. You take that to this development team. So technical skills, depending on the parts of technical support role you want to embark on. It could be different technology than 365. It could be Azure, it could be AWS, it could be a it could be even specifically to a particular programming language. There could be a company who needs a PHP support engineer who can support customers who are using. So it depends on the product and how the product works. So for example, in Microsoft, we have people we call the fast track engineers. The job of these engineers is to help customers migrate from any organization, like any non-Microsoft organization to Microsoft. So, for example, if you're migrating from Google Suite to Microsoft 365, these are the job of this engineer. They just help you do migration, make sure you don't lose your data. We also have backup engineers, like Azure backup engineers, who make sure that your your data are safe. So if you have questions or issues, you want to do a large backup, because these are like you're working with customers, which are like it could be bank institutions who are hosting their data on Azure or any other platform. It is a very important role because anything you do that goes bad affects the customer. Like customers trust you as a support engineer because you are like the person they talk to. So whatever you do, I mean, if you give customer a run script and they run the script and something breaks in the production, it's on you. So it's a very technical and like a very strict role. I mean, you need to know what you're doing. You need to know that this thing you're doing, this is not it's not a try, it's not a try and error role. Because if something goes bad, it could, damage your name as an engineer and also the company you support. So technical skills, very, very important as well. Challenges in this role. There's a lot of challenges, but we look at how we can actually overcome these challenges. This role is very challenging. Technical support roles are very challenging, and I'll tell you why it's very challenging. If you're a software engineer, you basically sit on your system, attend huddles, and you know, write your code, do your tasks behind the scene. But as a customer support engineer or as a technical support engineer, you're working with real customers, customers who are using this product, who are paying for this product. And what the challenges you face is when you work with customers who are a little bit angry, like very frustrating to work with. They could be sometimes abusive, some of them can be racist. So they can like, okay, hey, I don't get your language. I don't understand the kind of English you speak. I would like to speak with someone from Native America or, depending on the person you're calling, where the person is based in. They could use offensive words like the F words on you sometimes. So this is like is like the real market. This is like the real market. These are the end users who use your product. Sometimes you do this as well. Like maybe it's not with a support engineer, maybe it's with a support engineer. Something is not working, for example, and you open a customer. Let's take MTN as example, or your network provider. The service is lagging. Your internet is not working. You call MTN, or you're unable to make call. You call MTN or your service provider. You are ranting on the phone. You are ranting. Why is this not working? You paid for this. Yeah, it's normal. So this is like challenges you face. Like this is like some things we do as well. Like we are human. So when we get frustrated, we can rant. So when you're in this role, you face a lot of scenarios like this where customers are like very angry and they can, say all sort of things. Uh, One way to actually approach such customers is basically it could be different ways, but this is how I approach my customers when they are like very frustrating and they're angry. You first thing is you set expectations for them that you're actually here to help them. Like, yeah, I'm actually calling you because you have an issue and I'm here to help you, right? I did not write this application. I did not break this application. My job is actually to help you. So if you keep ranting on the call, I mean, maybe that is what we're going to do all throughout the call. But if you like give me your time, we can resolve this issue. You set expectations. If you didn't know that you two calling them or trying to help them, you're a human and you are here to help them. So if they actually want help, then they should actually work with you. Some of them can actually go further to rant when you say that, but you have to set expectations at first. Like, I'm here to help you. You need to calm down so I can help you because I can't walk if you're not calm, right? So sometimes most of the time when you use that word, they are calm because they understand that you're here to help them. You didn't write the application, you didn't break it, so it's normal and anything can break. That's what makes it an object. Is just what it is. It's a robot, it's a computer, so it can break and it can be fixed. So you're here to help the customer. So these are like one of the challenges you face. Another challenge you face apart from like the customer issues, like customers, not being friendly. It could be the technical know-how. So, for example, you could pick customer facing role could be challenging at times that you won't actually get the necessary help you need from like your colleagues, your team members. Like maybe everybody's like busy, like extremely busy that day, working on their tickets or working on the cases or the issues at hand. And you picked a very unique issue or a very unique case. You have spent like minutes, hours sometimes trying to resolve that issue with the customer, and you don't have any resolution yet, and you're reaching out to people, and like they are like very busy. Everybody's like busy at that day, and nobody can actually help you out. Even your team lead could be like extremely busy with a lot of things that they can't really help you. That's at that particular time. And yeah, first number one is customer could be angry, right? And it could be something critical. It could be uh all the whole email services are down because something happened somewhere, someone changed something, touched the connector, and everything is like not working properly at that same time. And you're unable to fix that issue. The company is done, they can't communicate, they can't chat on Teams, they can't send email, they can receive email, they can make calls through Teams. Like everybody's like on you, like you are the engineer, right? So everybody's like on you. So this could be an issue at times, like you don't have the support you need. So Sometimes, I mean, you could do a lot of research. This is like one way. You collect your, your details, like you call it proofing the customer. Collect details of the issues, collect everything you can, like every screenshot. It could be source code, fiddler, like network traces of whatever is happening, and you can escalate the issue. I mean, it's not a must. You have to fix that issue. If you have tried your best, you can't fix the issue. That's what we call assistance at work. You raise an assistant with, a senior engineer that is escalating the case. You can escalate the case. When you escalate the case, another engineer, like a more experienced senior engineer, maybe a level two engineer, uh, pick the case. So they don't work with the customer most of the time. They work with you. That is why it's actually a very rewarding role. A senior engineer is working with you, so you can work with the customer. They don't go working with the customer directly. They work with you. So by working with you, you are understanding what you should have done. You're learning something new. So next time, if you face such issue, it's easy for you to resolve. So these are like technical challenges you can face. So like not being able to resolve an issue, not being able to understand what the issue is, or not being able to, exercise the technical know-how on the issue, which is absolutely fine. You don't have to know everything. But then, I mean, asking questions, fine. Sometimes you can't get answers immediately, but yeah, you have to chill. You can, raise assistance, escalate the case, and you can always get the issue resolved. So one thing is, at the end of the day, you always get the issue resolved one way or the other. It could even be not an issue from your end. It could be an issue that has to be corrected from the back end. Maybe someone have to go to the back end and fix the code, which is also fine. So that's actually where escalation comes in place. So these are like the two things or the two parts of challenges I know you can face in this role. Another challenge is, I just give you an example. Uh, when when this session started, I mentioned about vendor and full-time employees, right? Full-time employees actually earn more money. So if you're a full-time employee at Microsoft, for example, they earn more money than vendors. And recently, like, so for example, a full-time employee have compensations, like they have company benefits, other stock benefits, allowances, and of course their salaries are always bigger as well. But they are doing the same thing you do at job, like the same exact thing you do at job. This is the same thing these guys do. But yeah, they get more money than you. So this is like a challenge. Yeah, it could be a challenge. And but the difference is you're more flexible than them. So they're expected to work only for the company. That's part of their contract. So even if they're working for other companies, they have to like keep it secret, right? But as a vendor or a contractor, you can work with different companies in as much as they're not Microsoft partners. Yeah, we can work with other companies. You can do your thing. You can just come to work. You can work full time. You can work part time. You can decide to work full time. You can decide to work part time as a vendor. So you more like have like enough time depending on what you want. Full time, part time. You can define your flexibility at work. So which is absolutely fine. And I mean, these guys earn more money, but you can actually earn close to what they earn if you're a workaholic. Yeah, I mean, if you're a support engineer, you can actually earn the same exact money that full-time employees earn if you're more like a workaholic, like you work every single time, every single day, you work every single minute, no break. You can actually earn the same amount of money they earn. But I mean, full-time employees, they don't have to work, they don't have to be workaholic. They just have to work that 8 to 5 and get paid at the end of the month. But you can actually work overtime if you want to like earn more money as a contractor, stuff like that. But it's like flexible. So you can dedicate the time you want to work from so hour to so hour. You can do other tasks, like do your other jobs. So that's actually I won't call it challenges, but it's like more like differences between vendor and a full-time employee. But currently, Microsoft is actually cutting down full-time employees. Yeah, I mean, like the tech industry currently is like crazy, right? And you know, people have been laid off. Microsoft actually cut like 80% of full-time support engineers, like full-time engineers. 80% of them was cut down, which opens more opportunities for vendors. That's just the truth, right? They're hiring more vendors now. They're hiring more contractors now, and they are laying off full-time employees. I mean, for them, they're saving more money. Yeah, that's just it. Yeah, greedy, I know, but yeah, for them, they're saving more money. So if they pay a full-time employee, let's say $10,000 a month, and they're paying a contractor, let's say half of that in a month, you see, they're saving like 50%. So they laid off, not they're laying off, they're still laying off full-time employees, like support engineers. Specifically this role, they have laid almost 80% of full-time technical support engineers to give way for vendors, that's contractors, because for them it's the same job. You guys are doing the same thing, the same job. Sometimes even the vendors do more job because the guys want to like earn more money, so they do more job than full-time employees. So this opens more job opportunities for contractors as well. Okay, let's talk about technical support certifications and education continuity. Firstly, being a technical support engineer, you are learning every day. Just put that somewhere on your notes. You must learn every day. You face issues that you have never faced before. You have to learn about that issue. So I'll just give you an example. If if customer if I'm just gonna give you like a real scenario, you know. So for example, customer wants to create an app password for the organization, and that is the first time of hearing about how to create, that's your first time of hearing app password. You have to actually reproduce that problem yourself. You have to like create it from your tenant, like create it yourself, like reproduce the problem. By reproducing the problem, you are like trying to achieve what the customer wants to achieve. So if you're able to achieve what the customer wants to achieve, then you have fixed the problem, right? So you can now call the customer and walk them through it. Simple. You have learned something while resolving an issue. So I think it's more like you are being paid to learn and help. I mean, that is actually a technical support engineer role. You are being paid to learn, help, and earn, right? So you face issues customers are having. You don't necessarily need to know how what this issue is for the first time. Could be your first time. It could be very unique. You have to learn. It could be you reading the documentation. I mean, we have internal documentation for technologies. We have public documentation as well that customers see. So you could find resolution in maybe the internal documentations. These are documentations provided to engineers, like how the product was, if this issue, how to resolve this issue, stuff like that. So you're actually learning every single day. Apart from that, you are placed at monthly uh courses as well. So because Microsoft or any other product out there is always updating, like they're always making changes. There's always code to write. They're always improving, changing one thing or the other, improving the product. Whenever there is a change, whenever there is a product update, you have to learn how that new update works. They could implement something new. You have to learn how that thing works for you to be able to understand. So, for example, Microsoft is working on Copilot for 365, right? That's the AI, and it's not yet publicly accessible right now, but it's actually accessible to us engineers. Like we are using the Copilot internally, so that when it's publicly accessible, you'll be able to you already know how it works, and you'll be able to support customers use it effectively. So there's always lessons. Like every month you are placed on a particular course, from the company. Company asks you to learn this, you have to learn this, take assessment, pass assessment. So they always put you on a learning path as a support engineer. You're always learning, whether you like it or not. You have to learn because there's always a product update. There's always changes made to the product. So Each time there's a change, each time there is a new roadmap, each time there is a product update, there's always a technical course created for it that you're expected to learn. Not always, because sometimes they could just push an update without enough documentation, on how the update works. Sometimes you have to figure it yourself, play with it, experiment, and figure it out yourself. So another is certifications. Just gonna give you an example. Whichever product it is you're like aspiring to support, maybe Azure, 365, AWS, whichever product it is out there, there's always certifications that sometimes. So, for example, if you're applying for a Microsoft 365 technical support role, you are expected to have a Microsoft 365 certification. So we have a certification called Microsoft 365. Let me get that. Let me be sure. Yeah, so 365 satisfied fundamentals, right? I mean, this actually teaches you more like everything about Microsoft 365 and basically everything you need to know. Like if you go through the learning parts, skills measured, cloud concepts, 365 apps and services, security, complex, this teaches you Microsoft pricing, licensing, and support. This teaches you almost everything you need to know about Microsoft 365. Then another MS 900 should be the administrator, if I'm correct. Okay, this still okay. That's MS 900. That's the Microsoft 365 fundamentals. Yeah. So this is like a course that you can take. So a certification that is required as well. Like if you're applying for a Microsoft 365 school, you're expected to have at least some certification, because certification shows that you understand how the product works, the pricing, the concepts, and everything that have to do with the product itself. The another certification I also recommend, like if you actually aspiring to like go to the Microsoft 365, is a certification called Microsoft Administrator. I'm not sure that was actually covered on. It could be it could be a certification or it could be a learning path. So basically, the administrator role, so learning about how to use 365, that's one. You know about the pricing, but they also need to learn how to like manage, be an administrator, more like a Microsoft 365 administrator, manage users, do the technical stuff, administrate users, licensing, you know, a lot of things that you can do as administrator, not just as an end user. So I can't find that yet. Let me see. Enterprise Administrator Experts. Yeah, so this could actually teach you a lot about Azure AD. Okay, yeah. So they have a certification called MS 102, Microsoft 365 Administrator. So this certification teaches you more. I think it's still on beta, but you can actually schedule it. So this will actually teach you more about Microsoft 365 workload, more like the administrator aspect of it. The hub, the architecture, Azure AD, DNS, server administrations, PowerShare. This is more like a technical support engineer now. I mean, this is like the skills that you need in order for you to support 365, right? You need to have the technical know-how of an administrator. So like certifications important. I mean, this teaches you more and also prepares you like when you apply for roles and you put these certifications in your resume, the employees know that, yeah, I mean, you're updated with the current trend. What is required. You have the technical know-how, which is important. So learning certifications important in order for you to do well in a technical support role. And I think that is actually everything we need to cover. One more thing I need to cover is like networking and mentorship in the technical role, right? If a technical support engineer, like I mentioned earlier, for you to like, you don't need to be a solo engineer when you're working in a support role. By solo engineer, I mean you don't need to just come to work, do your job, and go. You need to I'll use the Nigerian term, gum body small with your manager, your team leads, like show up like a little bit, like engage. Even when other engineers in your organization ask questions, trying to answer, trying to contribute. This places you in more leadership roles. Like they sees you as someone who is a leader, right? So if you want to actually climb that ladder, like you want to actually transition from just being a technical engineer to team lead to becoming a manager and keep going, you need to like network and seek mentorship as well from people who are already there. Within your organization, you always see these people, you always see your team lead, you always see your manager. So like try to be kind of close and contribute to your team. Like contributing is part of showing your leadership skills. When someone asks a question, okay, hey, I have this issue with the customer, this, you can come in, like give your insight. This is showing you are actually, you know, someone who wants the engineers to succeed, not just coming to work, doing your work and going. I mean, like try to like network and contribute as well. So I think that is everything that have to do with technical support and career growth and challenges and of course continuing education in this role. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vincent, for that enlightful and insightful conversations about technical support engineering. We have some questions on the chat. Although I would definitely have questions I want to ask very briefly, but we'll take questions on the chat. The first, it's from Alfred Sets. Can a software tester easily transition to customer support or technical support?
Yes. So yeah, a software tester can easily transition to a customer support or technical support. By software tester, so basically, it's all depends on the product or the technology that you are very interested in, right? You can transition from any role to technical support. You just need to understand the product. Understanding the product is the first job you need to do. You need to understand the product in and out. You need to understand how the product works, like turn it upside down, fix it, break it. That is, you need to understand how to fix and break a product for you to be transition to that product. So if you transition to, let's say, we also have guys we call like the exchange support engineer. They only focus on exchange. Like they understand how the exchange server works, everything about it, how to break it, how to fix it. So that is like one thing that support engineers need to do. You need to understand the product or the platform you want to like support, you want to transition it to, you have to understand it very well in order for you to fix and break it. So you can transition to support engineer from any role. What you need is first understand the product, how to fix and how to break it. Then secondly is your soft skills, like how you talk to customers, how you manage customers. So yeah, so anybody can actually transition. It's all about learning the product and getting your soft skills up.
All right, thank you very much for that. My own question, which is a very people actually have this question to ask, and it's
Mm-hmm.
about, customer support is not new in itself. I mean, you have customer support people in the banks, have customer people in MTN, people have customer support, right? Now, we will now say technical customer support, or we add the technical part, even developer support as well. What makes it different?
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually what makes it different. Uh, I think I gave an example when you call like an NTN customer care on the phone and you're like, hey, my network is not working, right? Uh, they may not necessarily need to understand how networking works or how the technical aspect of connectivity works to fix your problem, right? I mean, like it doesn't actually need like a technical stuff per se. It could be they just check your network, basically tell you that network they'll fix it, but maybe nothing is happening. So the difference is a customer support representative and a technical support representative or technical support engineer. The difference is the technical skill. You could be working as a technical support engineer and your job is to write code that supports customers. This is technical. Your job could be to write scripts like bash scripts or PowerShell scripts that helps do something on the customer's environment. It's technical. Is a product that requires technical know-how, like coding know-how or not always coding, like networking skills, DNS skills, domain skills, like different type of skills, but they're all technical skills because it's technical. It's a technical skill. It's not just speaking with the customer. It's not like when you call a representative in a hotel that you want to book a hotel on, okay, which room do you want to book? These are customer representatives. They don't actually need a technical skill to understand that you want to book a hotel and you want to book room. You have to reserve room, this and room that. Like there's no technical skill needed for that. This is just this is more like a representative. Technical requires you to have the technical skill for the job, like for the role you're applying for. You need to have the technical skill based on the role description. Um, to answer that question further, I'll just open like a row that needs like an open row. Let's say, so let's say I search for a technical support role at Microsoft, and I'll bring that page right here. This is specifically to Nigeria, but that's not actually what I'm looking for. So, okay, we can actually use this as an example, though this is actually not what I'm looking for. But then, if you look at this technical support role, these engineers work across Microsoft cloud technologies from Azure services to Office 365 to help customers resolve cloud service issues they may face. Now, this is cloud service issue that requires technical know-how of how the cloud service works. And, these are like, is a technical support role. They demonstrate customer obsession. Of course, you need to be obsessed with customer and support inform technical redemption, raising and closing ticket, and escalating issues. So for every technical rules, you need to understand, you need to have the technical know-how for how that service or product works for you to be able to support it. I'm just going to give another example. There's a role called cloud support engineer. A cloud support engineer is expected to do everything a DevOps engineer do or does, but not for the organization, but for customers, right? So you're like doing the same thing a DevOps engineer do on a daily basis, but you are doing it for other customers. So for example, an Azure DevOps engineer support customers who use Azure to do DevOps job. So like your job, you have to be a DevOps engineer, but your job is not to write DevOps stuff for Microsoft. Your job is to support customers who need to write, DevOps stuffs or CI/CDs for the organization. So you need to know, you need to have. You're still a normal DevOps engineer. You can work for the organization as a DevOps engineer, but you're actually working. The difference here is you're working with different customers who wants to achieve the same thing. I think this is like the difference. Like you're still the same normal engineer, you're still the same DevOps engineer, but your job now is to support customers that use the product your company built. So I've just like used Azure or AWS example. So
Mm.
you're a normal DevOps engineer. You have the DevOps skills. That's a technical know-how. But you have more, which is the more is like customer obsession. Like you need to be able to work with customers to help them, do the DevOps job on the organization. So I think that's also the difference between a technical support engineer and a customer representative. Like these guys don't need technical know-how. They just need to be more of customer obsession, right? They just need to be able to speak to customers, understand customer needs, and yeah, they can now. So
Yeah.
basically, Yeah, even here at Microsoft, we have customer representative as well. So sometimes customers call in, like they call, they support phone number. Those that pick that call are customer representative. They actually help the customers now, connect them to support engineers, like technical support engineers. So these like two different roles. These guys are just to speak with customer. Okay, customer calling. Hey, I'm having an issue with Exchange. I'm not receiving emails. Okay, yeah, fine. Your name, your email, where can we reach you? Let's take that information, now pass it to customer support engineer. So like these are like two different guys. Their job is to just get the information, pass it along.
All right, th thank you very much for that. We're almost past time. So, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, it's a very growing field, especially looking at big companies now. Even smaller companies are trying to save costs, and so they're laying off full-time employees and are looking to hire contractors, what support engineers across different roles, technical, cloud. It could even be, for example, Vassal or hosting companies have customer support as well for different items or different issues or tickets to resolve. So we will definitely have more of this insight, especially looking at the upcoming program called Technical Supports Engineer Certification Program, where we intend to train and help others who are interested to transition to become software engineers, so that we can place and help most of them begin to tap into the market with this opportunity that's presented to them. So thank you very much, Vicent, for that. I'm looking at, right now, when people want to start a career in tech, they don't entirely look at the certain roles. They simply go to coding or simply go to design or simply go to any other thing, right? But there are other open roles and careers and fields that are absolutely creative, have opportunities than all of these most popular roles available. So yeah, we'll definitely work together to assist as many as possible, get into the field and support as many as we can also to land some gigs as well. So thank you very much, Vicent. I don't have any questions. So yeah, I got some few DMs about network. We'll definitely
Mm-hmm.
send the recording tomorrow with other resources and materials that we would like you to have concerning how to begin a career in technical support engineering. Vicent, do you have any last comments so we can wrap up?
No. So, but basically, yeah. If people have more questions, they can connect with me, ask. They can also ask you directly, trust, and sure you can just shoot me the questions.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for staying thus far. We'll definitely connect further via email and send all of the recordings and the materials needed. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.